Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Friday! Happy Friday! Happy Friday! Peace and blessings to everybody this evening. I'm so glad I could be here with you guys again. I hope all is well. We made it another week. I appreciate you for spending time with us. Shout out to my poets, my writers, my content creators. Special announcement real quick. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are doing a special open mic, 2 o'clock. So if you are a lover of the art and you want to come hang out with us, you are more than welcome to join. If you want to pull up, be a part of the show, shoot me an email, shoot me a DM. We'll make something happen. Outside of that, I gave my flowers out. Don't think I'm missing anything. If it comes to me, I'll bring it back up in the duration of the show. I do have a clip for us. Sydney's in the building. I appreciate you for tapping in with us again. How was everything? Happy Friday.
You as well. Happy Friday on 7-Eleven day. I guess the holiday of cheap food for the road. But not too much going on today. It was just a regular try to clean up after my kids faster than they mess up the house kind of day. So yeah, just a day being a mom. I got to write today, so I'm happy about that. Because that's usually the main goal, is to at least write something, even if it's just a line. Because you just want to. You have to keep practicing somehow. So, And I got that accomplished today, so I'm doing pretty good.
That's what's up. Once upon a time, I'd get up in the morning, I'd write. In the afternoon, I'd write. In the evening, I'd write. Not so much anymore. Maybe I need to have that spurt. Like every so often, I'll get in this mood. It could be movies. It could be staying off of something, staying away from something. It could be going on a follow spree. Maybe I just need that one day where I'm just like, all right, here I am. I'm ready to go. Let's do it. I see. I pace myself now, so nothing is just consistently. Oh, I got to. But salutes to you. You got it in today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna tell you, I didn't hear about this. Well, I actually heard about this like a day or so ago, but I never fully locked into it until I scrolled and I saw this. I didn't know how far it went. Like, we already know what ICE is doing. People have expressed it abundantly. You saw it in LA. You hear people's grievances on social media. People talking about there's no such thing as peaceful protesting, and a lot of folks have gotten to a point where they decide to take it into their own hand. And I believe we've kind of spoken on ICE before, just them taking people from their homes after they done spent 10, 15 years of their life building a legacy here. I don't know if you've heard about the story. You probably did though, because you're like me, you see these things constantly. What are your initial thoughts? Because I'm gonna play the clip, but me just kind of knowing how inquisitive you are, I got a feeling you've already got some type of view on this, if any. They go to the start of the show. What's up? What's up? What's up?
You gonna say hi?
I take that.
Man, I have very strong feelings about the whole. I mean, the whole system is corrupt, and so I just see them as corrupt, and I just am astonished how quickly we got to 1939 Germany. Like, it's like I'm a history fanatic, and I have deeply researched the history of Germany and certain people, because I've always been a very emotional person. And so when I first heard about things like the Holocaust, it hurt. Like, I went through depression, and I don't want to go as far as to say PTSD, but I had really severe anxiety. I'd have like flashbacks and stuff of the imagery of what they went through, but I kept researching it because I've always been the type to assuage my fear. I would research it more, because by understanding whatever it was, I was able to make myself feel less anxious because I'd understand the dynamics behind it and how I can prepare myself. I think I kind of touched on this idea in the flood topic on Wednesday. But the idea of ICE is frankly terrifying, and I just can't believe that average Americans are going through this. I saw a statistic not too long ago, a couple hours ago, something around 58 or 62% of people that are stolen, I want to call it kidnapped. They're kidnapped by ICE. They don't have any criminal background at all whatsoever. And some of these people are fully citizens of the United States. So to me, 100%, no matter what they say, it is an instrument of tyranny that they're being used to enact all sorts of political crimes on people. And they're going to ramp this up. They just funded ICE by four times, I believe. They quadrupled their budget. So we are going to see streams of them throughout the cities, and they are obviously targeted attacks. It's ridiculous not to think that they're targeted attacks, because first of all, they're sending them to highly democratic cities, and second of all, most of the people that they're targeting have Middle Eastern sounding names, or they are people of color, or they have Hispanic sounding names. They have gotten people just solely off of their name. They were American citizens, but because their names sounded Hispanic, they went to their house to confront them. And Pam Bondi, I think it was today or a couple days ago, no, it wasn't Pam Bondi. It was some other, I think it was the governor of Arizona or Mississippi. I don't know, one of the red states. He said that they have the right to question people if they suspect, and they are allowed to, I wish I had my, he basically was condoning racial profiling, and I'm like, wow, we're really back that far. That's crazy. We jumped like 60 years in 6 months, 7 months. Let me find that quote. If you want, you can play the clip because it might take a little bit for me to find it.
I forgot I muted the mic. My bad. Yeah. Let me go. Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring it up here real quick. But like I said, before I found out that I muted, I didn't really know the background or the history of ICE, to be honest with you, like how far it goes. But initially, I was under the impression that their only objective was to balance out a lot of the injustices that we were seeing, people getting cheated out of positions that they should be getting in their own backyard. I mean, all of these homeless people and all of these men and women that's constantly struggling to find work, but it's being outsourced. I just looked at it like they're getting rid of criminals and so on and so on. But you dig a little further into it, it's a little more complex than that.
I found the quote that I was referencing. So this was Bill Homan, who is I forgot what he is. He's one of Trump's cabinet member people. He said people need to understand ICE officers and Border Patrol don't need probable cause to walk up to somebody, briefly detain them, and question them based on their physical appearance. So they are basically saying, yeah, we're allowed to just look at someone and decide that we're going to detain them, but we all know what they mean by detain.
Right. You know, matter of fact, let me go ahead and bring this up here. I'm about to go and ramble on some more. Hold on. I think this is about 4-5 minutes, and I'm gonna just let it play all the way through. Let's see. All right. So what you're about to see here is them giving a report about an attack on the offices of ICE in Texas.
You that late at night on July 4th, Friday night at approximately 10:37 p.m. at the Prairieland ICE Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas, 10 to 12 individuals dressed in black military-style clothing began shooting fireworks and engaging in acts of vandalism at the facility. And this was part of an organized attack. Today, my office has charged 10 individuals with 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer. Each of the 10 are also charged with 3 counts of discharging a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. Each of these defendants faces a mandatory prison term of 10 years and up to life in prison. An additional co-conspirator was charged with obstruction of justice and conspiracy for attempting to conceal and destroy evidence in relation to the attack, and he faces up to 10 years in prison. Let's discuss the incident. It was a planned ambush with the intent to kill ICE corrections officers. Make no mistake, this was not a so-called peaceful protest. It was indeed an ambush. The attackers used the vandalism that I described, which seemed to be designed to draw ICE personnel outside the facility, and it worked. After about 10 minutes of having convened, 1 or 2 individuals broke off from the group. They engaged in the graffiti, they damaged vehicles and a guard structure. The graffiti had such words as traitor, ICE pig, other profanity. Then there was a 911 call from the facility. 2 unarmed corrections officers went outside to speak with the vandals. One of the gunmen signaled using a flashlight to the vandals. Now, the gunman was not with them. He was separate and apart. At one point, the Alvarado police officer arrived, a single police officer. An assailant who was positioned in the woods shot him in the neck area. Another assailant who was across the street, nowhere near the corrections officers, shot 20 to 30 rounds at these unarmed corrections officers. There was an AR-style rifle found at the scene. It was jammed, apparently discarded by the attackers. The assailants fled. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office was able to stop a vehicle. There was a single driver in that vehicle. The sheriff deputy saw in plain sight a firearm. Another firearm was in the back seat, and there were 2 Kevlar ballistic style vests also in that vehicle. There was a second encounter with law enforcement about 300 yards from where the police officer was shot in the neck. Sheriff deputies stopped 7 individuals. Some were wearing body armor, some were covered in mud, some were armed, and some had two-way radios on them. There were a total of 12 sets of body armor found during various searches of vehicles, defendants, and the area around the Prairie Land Detention Center. And this included a flag saying, "Resist fascism, fight oligarchy." Law enforcement officers found spray paint. They found flyers such as "Fight ICE Terror with Class War," "Free all political prisoners." One of the attackers' cell phones had cell phones inside a Faraday bag. A Faraday bag is something that is supposed to block electronic signals, and criminals commonly use them because they think it prevents law enforcement officers from finding their location. Over the course of the weekend, additional related searches occurred. We found masks, goggles, tactical gloves. We've one residence of one of the defendants. There was additional body armor. There was a cache of 9 additional weapons, spray paint, fireworks, and again, insurrectionist material. One of them was entitled "Organizing for Attack, Insurrection, Anarchy." Due to the rapid response of local law enforcement, these individuals were quickly apprehended. This was an egregious attack on federal and local law enforcement officers, and it is part of an increasing trend of violence against them.
What do you do with that? Oops, sorry about that. My bad. I hit the wrong one.
Oh man, the last part was what had me. The audacity to call it an insurrection. I'm like, so that's an insurrection? Then what was January 6th then? These people and their double speak and like flat out lies. I don't understand how they can lie this much and the rest of the politicians are just like, I wonder what's happening. Oh no, but they said this. Like,
right.
Like, do none of you have critical thinking, or all oh my god, or are all of you in cahoots? I don't understand why so many politicians are turning a blind eye to this. I see some movement, like I see some politicians standing out in the news for doing different things, but it's like the same maybe 5 to 10 names of people pushing back. I mean, it seems like it's gathering strength a little bit, but the allowing Americans to be grabbed off the street and sent away to some random country in a inhumane, I'm not even going to call it a prison, like torture play, like location. It's beyond, like, people don't understand how bad those conditions are. Like, they might not have shoes or clothes. They might be packed in with another like 300 people in a single room area, or even like a huge room area with like hundreds or thousands of men or people all squished together. And there's rats and cockroaches and mosquitoes and biting insects, spiders, like all kinds of different creatures. There's the food that they're getting is moldy or has worms in it or is rotting or is like old, like just super old or just unpalatable. There's so many people that should not belong there and are being sent there. And then, as we know, we've seen on the news, they steal babies away from the mothers, literally hours or days after they're born. They take people away who are reliant on medical procedures medical devices or not interference, intervention. And they're doing this to students that had visas and people that were previously vetted, and they're photoshopping tattoos onto people. Like, this is criminal. This whole thing is just criminal. There's no way on earth this can be considered law and order. They are hurting people. It's resulting in people's deaths. It is obviously inhumane conditions, which goes against international law to treat human beings in certain ways. And then, not to mention the fact that this is going to be a whole other, this would have to be its own podcast, but all of the other crimes these people have committed and are getting away with just because they can hide the evidence or buy off the people that are doing the lawmaking, and they can just walk away and have the money to just pretend it never happened. And everyone else is just getting screwed. Like, this is a movement to remove the people they find to be undesirable, to use a nice term. But there is evidence of secret meetings with both politicians and business members, people that are highly, highly rich and influential, like secretly recorded videos, or and I don't know how they were gathered, but basically them talking about them wanting to dominate. Like, they want to take this country for themselves and have the remaining selection work for them. And then they want all of the mooching people off of the system. And they basically categorize anybody who is low income as mooching off the system. Because if you can't make it, obviously all you have to do is work harder. So they're essentially targeting anybody who is remote, who does not fit into the like white Christian nationalist gun-toting, like, you have to be Trump's friend to be able to not be deported.
Yeah, this whole thing is strange to me, because I can understand the wanting to protect. If I'm the president, I want to protect my country. I want to protect the citizens here. How do you do it? You want to ensure that anything foreign or domestic that is a possible threat does not have a foothold to cause destruction on your soil. Then that could mean economically, that could mean having people who know how to create biological weapons, or someone leaking secret information to another source outside of this. I mean, there's a lot of things that you got to consider when you're a president or you're someone that is considered to be security. The way that they're going about this, I'm not for it. Originally, and I still feel like this, if the shoe was on the other foot and I decided to go into another country I didn't have any credentials to lawfully place me in that location. Not even understanding that their policies and the way that they punish people are not even really known to me. I get caught over here in Russia, they probably would have my head. There's places where you'll absolutely go through hell, and it's not the same in comparison to getting caught over here. They might send you back. You go over there, it's probably way worse. But if the shoe's on the other foot, this would be an entirely different conversation. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. It's foul. I get it, but I don't get it. I thought the original idea was to hold people accountable, but the way that this is looking as if they're taking it way further, and it got to the point where these folks decided that they had enough, and they went on ahead and took matters in their own hands. And I know they're not going to be the last to do it. It's awkward. I would feel better if you were going to do this and you were going to put people in charge of grabbing up illegal immigrants and all this. I would have felt better if there was a contingency, or like you gave us a layout of what you were doing, how you were going to go about it without actually putting people in danger. Uh, which means if you're going to get these people and they technically really aren't supposed to be here, if you're going to send them back to something safe. It's almost like you're just kicking people out on the street and telling them to fend for themselves. I don't know.
Um, I think one of the one of the things that needs to be established, I guess, is what are their limitations? Because I do not believe for a second that they're allowed to do whatever they want. I don't believe that they have the right to just barge into somebody's home without a warrant, without any notification whatsoever, just based on a name. Like, I've heard of so many people get caught just because they saw their name pop up in some database, or they saw them in association with somebody else that had been in the system or something like that. And a lot of them were picked just off the streets. They just saw them, and they are going to locations that are known to have people like that there, like at farming locations, and at certain like farmers markets, and even like I've heard they've been going to some like industrial type of companies as well to catch people that are working like those types of jobs and stuff. And then also no warrant, the violence that they're committing against these people. Like I think there was a woman who lost her baby because she got slammed. I have seen them like grab hair, grab arms, slam people on the cars, the ground. Like, if a police officer did that to somebody, even in the most corrupt city, if they got that on camera, he would be dismissed. he would be asked to leave. And they don't do anything at all. Like, there are no repercussions. But then when ICE people get attacked, oh, where this was an attack on American citizens. This was, like, they almost equate them as if they're actual veterans. And I'm like, the other issue, we don't even know if half these people are vetted. They're all masked men with sunglasses and a full body armor. They don't show identification. They don't show any badges. They don't have any like labelings on them. We don't even know if they're actually registered. They could just be some people that decided that, hey, cool, this is sanctioned violence. I can go out and harass whoever I want to. It's the same thing that they had in the 1850s and 60s, where they had some neighbors that would walk outside and make sure none of the slaves got away. Like, it's the same premise. We have city-sanctioned violence against people that are outsiders and shouldn't be here. And it's encouraging people. We are now seeing people in public berating, like, you should go back to your country. Like, I know we've had this before, but I don't think I've seen it at this intensity. Like, where people are literally just being screamed at in grocery stores, at gas stations, at schools, at parks, with their children in front of them, because they have to let you know that you need to go back to the country where you came from, and you blah, 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 insert stereotypes. It's shameful. Like, we used to be, like, literally 10, 20 years ago in schools, we had posters with kids of every color on it because they wanted us to all get along. And now we're just like, only if you're white and male. So I think the thing that hits me the most is recognizing that there are actual supporters behind this. That this is, yes, primarily the government, but there's enough people standing behind this type of hatred. It's just mind-boggling to me. I don't understand how people can be that far off what they're thinking. How you can see any human being as not worthy, but as deserving of the treatment that they've been exposed to. I mean, I've seen MAGA person after MAGA, like, oh, my friend got deported, my friend's husband got deported, my neighbor got deported, like, but they were good, they were upstanding citizens, they were wonderful parents, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, you voted for this. You wanted to kick people out. You didn't think that it wasn't going to include the people you knew who fit in that category. Like, when you sanction violence, when you sanction racism, when you allow that type of mentality to guide your interactions and your voting practices and your like day-to-day, like how you do your business, it's going to seep into society. Like, people forget that despite all of our isolation, we're still deeply connected. And there are parts of the population that have allowed this type of mentality to continue. And I'm pretty sure we know what demographic it's going to be. But there's, I don't know, there's just a lot of, I don't even know what it is. Like, I want to say that it's people being unaware of our history. Like, oh, well, if they understood our history, they wouldn't feel that way. Or like, oh, maybe they had a bad experience, or it's how they were raised. But I honestly think it's something deeper than that. Like, they are just traumatized by something. They're damaged by somebody, and they now hate everyone except their closest circle. And so, I don't know, they get enjoyment out of watching other people suffer, or they get like a dopamine hit every time they see like violence on TV, like, wow, that's exciting, like a movie from the action movie or something like that. Um, like, do they just not have a connection to the people that they see on TV? I hear, I've heard this rhetoric for years, of like, get out of this country, you don't belong here, go back to insert country. It's not, this isn't new, but I think that technology has kind of disconnected us from the human and has over connected us to the stereotypes. And so people just see everyone as like dirty criminals. They don't actually understand that most of them are like statistically, Hispanic families overwhelmingly, they're low to middle income. Most a high majority, I think it's like 70 or 80% of their kids end up going to college and getting at least a bachelor's degree. Most of them are religious. Most of them are more likely to stay in their jobs for long extended period of time. Like they tend to stay in their jobs longer than like white Americans do. Yeah. There's what was I saying with that? Oh yeah, there's a lot of reasons that they place on hating people, but they're not hating the actual people. They're hating the idea in their heads of who they think those people are.
You know what it feels like? It feels like a certain group is trying to eliminate another group. And I'm not just talking about ICE, I'm talking about collectively. When you look at the content, when you look at the degree of back and forth over some of the most trivial discussions, the bickering and the fighting, is always 3 to 4 main subjects. And it's always a specific group that are always in that orbit. And the main ones that's constantly repeating the same drama over and over and over again. I agree. There's a lot of lawlessness in what they're doing. If you're telling me that random people are just throwing on mask and a uniform, because I do remember seeing a couple of clips where people were actually pretending to be this and they're not really that. And someone had to step in. I wish I would have saved that. Someone stepped in. No, actual officer stepped in and had to call them out because they were pretending to be ICE agents. And they said, like, all right, we'll show me your badge, show me proof that you are who you say you are. It's almost as if they turned this into a gaming reserve. I'm all about fairness and justice and all that good stuff, but there needs to be proper protocols. There was another point that I wanted to add to this, and it was in regards to how you have all of this energy for this specific situation, but when it comes to dealing with your own problems on this land, you don't really have no answers. You got all these people out here on the street, but you ain't batting an eye at them. You don't have no words for them. You kick them off of the benches, you kick them out of parks, you don't want them out there. I did a reaction video about a woman who was saying that, and she's currently homeless right now. They don't even want you to be homeless. Not only are you on the street, but they don't want you on the street either. And she was going into real detail about how they will pretty much harass you on purpose. Where are you supposed to go? Well, I don't know where you're going to go, but you can't be here. And it's like, all right, so what happened to humanity? You don't really like your own people. You're trying to kick them people out of this country, but you don't even want to take care of the ones that's born and raised here. I think our government is piss poor. They have no idea how to handle situations like this. There's a better way to deal with this, a far better way. At grade, I just don't see how you create this regime of people to do a job. Now you got people pretending to be these people, but you don't know how to stop it. How do you identify it if you're a foreigner or someone whose name is Enrique, or your name is nothing American about it, and someone walk up to you and tell you you're under arrest, you got to come with me? How do you call them out and protect yourself? What? Go ahead.
Just in regards to protecting yourself, the advice that I've heard is to record yourself. Get yourself on video, like record the audio, record the video, whatever you can do, take pictures, get as much proof as you can as you are being harassed. That way you have evidence to pass on to people if this escalates more. You're also advised, if you're in your home or if you're like in a building or something like that, just lock yourself in and don't ignore them. Like, don't answer the door, and then don't engage with them. Like, don't talk to them, don't hit them, don't do anything to them, just like ignore them. And then I think they also, like, there are specific lawyers that are good to contact, but I don't know as much of the details about that. But yeah, the sad thing is it's hard to help people when they don't even go by the books. Like, these kidnappings are never, like with police, most people, unless you're unlucky, can expect the same thing with most police encounters. Like, they can expect they're going to walk up to your car door, or they're going to walk up to you and they're going to say, hey, insert whatever. Like, I wanted to talk to you. I wondered, blah, 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 blah. Like, you're going to be questioned. And then after that, if you did do something, then they'll be like, yeah, here's your ticket, or here's your information, or yeah, I'm going to arrest you, or do you want to talk to a lawyer? Like, these ICE people, they show up, they sometimes brutalize you, and then they whisk you away. and that's it. I think sadly, it's not something that you can prevent if you're embroiled in it. The best you can do is just get as much attention and help for yourself as possible before they're able to take you. Because I've noticed that's really what's been working is people will barricade in people that are being snatched by ICE. And that's been the one thing that works is by preventing them from getting to the person in the first place. But it seems that once they've actually gotten a hold of the person, it's much harder to actually get them because they keep using legal garbage to continue not delivering on what's actually legal. I mean, we've been seeing this with I'm blanking on his name, but the one that they tattooed his fingers and they're like, oh yeah, he's in the gang, even though it's clearly not that at all. Like they're literally just random symbols, which are probably meaningful to him. Anyway, once you're in their hands, it's kind of a wild card of what's going to happen. Obviously, the conditions of these places are horrendous. In the new jail in Florida, I refuse to give it that stupid name. They've like literally within a week of them opening, it had already flooded. So these places are not safe for human beings. In the 80s, 90s, even like previous to that, we have sent American troops to rescue people in other countries from the same conditions. And we are now doing that to Americans. Like there's no other way to what do you say, condone what they're doing. It's 100% illegal. And I mean, we all know the answer. I don't think it's going to happen because the system has degraded too rapidly. So we'll likely need rebellion and revolution from our side to do anything about it, because clearly the other politicians do not care either. Like there's a select handful. As I said, there's a couple names that keep coming up. Cory Booker and Alexandria, obviously, and Jasmine. But people are going to have to get to the point where we are willing to stand up for ourselves, because that's all we have right now is our communities, our friends, our family members, the people around us who are not invested in the system. Mute. And also adding to what Greg said, also LGBT community. The LGBT community, anybody that is, like as you said, poverty stricken, anybody that has addictions, anybody that is like low credit score type of deal. Basically, anybody that's vulnerable, they're going to target. They're going to make it easier and easier for us to lose our money, for us to lose our respect, lose our value as individuals. They're going to take our jobs. They're going to take our homes. They're going to make it harder and harder for us to exist without funneling money to them. That's why they've outlawed homelessness in every capacity they can, other than making freaking homes for people.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. You making life unaffordable, and then you're upset when people can't afford the lifestyle. But you're also making it to where people are glamorizing and idolizing and worshiping the very things that they're lining your pockets with, so that they could end up eventually destitute or in debt for the rest of their life. I was just having a conversation with a coworker. They are at least 63, 64 years old, And they said, and I quote, most likely I'm going to have to work until the day I die, because who's going to take care of my medical issues, my health care and all of that? They're not trying to look out for me at 65 and this, that, and the third. I'm screwed. I'm pretty much going to be doing this all and I'm like, man, they really doing us dirty. Now, I think it's different with how they approach every group. With black people, I believe, well, you got the music, you got the dividing the household, you're destroying nuclear families, you're poisoning us with liquor stores in every corner,
Getting us addicted to everything.
legalizing damn near every drug known to man.
Even most of our food makes us sick.
Food, porn, they're making the things that
Change.
yes, they're making everything available and more accessible, but in the same breath they're trying to color it as if we're just doing all of this to ourselves, which
They're
some of
making debt and reliance more accessible.
exactly. So for real, bro, I think they don't. I don't think they like any of us for real. I think they're trying to. I don't know. I always felt like they just use us to make sure that their offspring and their life is comfortable for as long as possible. Then they're trying to kill everybody off. But hold on, let me see something here. Our government sent homeless people to a camp where the environment was not qualified for.
I want to respond to that.
Go ahead. I was just reading.
In California, in San Francisco, I think it was President Xi Jinping. It could have been somebody else, but they were coming to visit San Francisco and they wanted to see the city. And so they, in like 2 days, they took every homeless person in that area off the street, put them up in housing, like a motel somewhere or whatever, like fully cleaned up the streets. The graffiti was gone, the trash was gone, it was like painted and all done up and whatever, like vegetation and stuff like that. And then they had their event and had the person come, and then after that they like to all the people in the hotel, they're like, all right, thank you, bye. And they were out on their own again. I'm like, okay, first of all, so y'all had the ability to organize and round up and get all of these homeless people off the street into hotels all in 2 days, but you can't do that in the 40, 50, 60, 70 years we've had issues with homelessness in this city. And then second of all, so you are going to round them all up off the streets, put them in a hotel for 2 days, and then you're just going to be like, all right, F you, find your own way. Good luck. Like,
sensational.
I hate politicians.
I do too, with a passion, with a huge, just.
So good.
That's just the bottom line too, because y'all know what y'all doing. Y'all just laughing in our face, and where I'm standing looking at these people, you talking about, all right, let's do this. This group decided to take their frustrations out on a bunch of unarmed officers. One gets shot in the neck, 20, 30 shots go out. You're talking about giving them all 10 to life behind bars, calling it whatever the hell you. What do we do with that? Is that, are we, how do we view these people? Are we looking at them like criminals? Are they justified for how they feel? Should they have retaliated or responded the way that they did? What do we do with the people who are sick and tired of your bullshit, and so they decide to take matters into their own hands? Something's going to have to give, because y'all not doing your job. So we have people who are going to force your hand, make you do something about it. And I don't see that working either. But I can also see these people becoming martyrs, if that's the word. I think it's martyr. But what do you say to someone like that? How do you categorize somebody? I don't condone violence. I don't condone you shooting people who ain't got nothing to do with the direct injustices that's going on. Shooting people, and I don't like. No, I understand your anger and your rage and all that, but there has to be a limit in the line. So I mean, from your window looking at this, how do you see these people? The message that they're trying to deliver. Are they going about it the right way? Are they handling it completely wrong? What do we do with that?
I mean, the only message I can really see them sending is we want to beat you into submission. We want to fear you out of the country, and we want to make it as unpleasant as possible for the people that do not support him, that they will leave or they will submit. This is a way of pushing down a population, and like the equivalent of stepping on the head of a person in a fight. Like, you're trying to force the person to obey, and that's exactly what he wants. That's why he's going after journalists who talk bad about him. That's why he's going after lawyers that try and generate suits against him. That's why he spews lies about the politicians that are telling the truth about him. He is relying on people to be ignorant, to be blind to it, and to either choose not to see it or to be so discombobulated that they can't keep track of everything that's happening. That's why he has this everything all at once type of approach, because if you come at people from every single angle and you are going after every facet of the democracy at the same time in a short period of time, and you are unrolling new laws and revoking them and then putting them out again and then putting them, like, starting wars and then revoking it, and all this back and forth stuff he's doing is to confuse us, is to distract us, and is to detract from the actual thing that is happening. This is a man who is a criminal, and he's trying to avoid prison. And he was able to get into the country, subvert this country, and now the people that have influenced him are working with him to take the system for themselves. A lot of these people have jumped on the Trump train because they saw it as a ticket in, as a way to pay themselves into the government to suppress American democracy. And this is what we're watching right now. It's them unraveling everything democracy has put together thus far. And ICE is just another mechanism for that process. It is their use of, as I said, their use of force to make American citizens too afraid to say anything, too afraid to be different, too afraid to stand out in any capacity in opposition of him. And it's probably also in an effort to squash people's willingness to do protests and marches and stuff like that, because that is what works. Marches and boycotts, protests, peaceful protests, they work because they disrupt the things that are most important to the people that are running things. So they're trying to keep us home, they're trying to keep us quiet, and they're trying to keep us dumb and blind if they can.
In a nutshell. My question was more or less towards the people who actually said, "Fuck this, let's mob up, let's suit up, let's put on the mask, let's put on the bulletproof vest, let's go out here, let's drive X amount of miles to this facility and shoot it up. Y'all getting on our nerve. Y'all doing too much."
Personality disorders, attachment disorders. All of these people have complexes and mental issues and a need for, like, a lot of these people are either hyper violent, like masculine, I need to exert my influence on somebody else to feel good about myself type of people, or they are the loner, I don't have friends, nobody else cares about me, I hate the world, I'm resenting the world type of people that are like, I'm gonna be the dark hero, I'm gonna be the Joker and like create anarchy, because I don't even know. I don't really want to say that it's because they're socially ostracized. I know that it's a component of it, but I really think that if they were socialized more with people and actually understood human emotions and that not everyone is out to get you, it would probably dissuade a lot of people from participating in violence like this. But obviously we're living in a hyper separate kind of culture now. So I think there's a lot more people that don't really understand human emotions and don't really connect with humans very well and would rather have a each man for himself dystopian, like I'm out in the desert riding on my motorcycle, like living like, you know, those post-apocalyptic type of male superhero type of, I'm gonna be the one that survives the end and I'm gonna be the last man on earth kind of like dependence ego thing.
I to be honest with you, I think humans are too fickle to really be in a major position of power, man. Like, I'm really thinking about who could you really trust and or rely on to be impartial. You vote for somebody to make sure that people get health care and the schools get attention to them and teachers get treated right, foreigners get treated right. They know how to balance out issues going on in other countries. They're diplomatic. They can be cordial with hostile environment. It I don't really, it's getting to the point where I'm like, do we really have that type of a human being?
They're not using the same systems as us. The people that are highly wealthy have access to a world that we don't have access to. And so their understanding is that we are just being greedy and whatever, because like it's not that hard, because it's not for them. It's easy for them. They can get whatever they want. They can get the name of a fancy doctor from their friend because they're all in the same, like they can get into a specific club because their husband is part of a certain group. Like they have luxuries that none of us would understand unless we were actually in it. And as on the flip side, they also do not understand what life is like for us. That's why I found a lot of the most influential people tend to be, they were very, very poor or in broken down home. But then they grew up through, like they lived life and made something of themselves, and then they wanted to come back and make changes for the people that they remember in those communities, and they knew what it was like. That one of my favorite quotes is, equality isn't everybody can afford cars, equality is that poor and the rich alike take buses. It's that we all live together and not separate lives. And that's what's happening right now. The hyper wealthy are living separate lives from us. And most of us would never get the chance to have even 15 minutes with any of the richest men on the planet. We'd never get 15 minutes even from some of the lesser rich men on the planet, because we are ants to them. We are nothing to them, and they do not care about us. In the 1800s and the 1900s and the 1950s, like part of the reason we were able to get such great structure put together was because everyone was basically on the same page. In the 1800s, everyone was fighting against the same elements. Everyone was susceptible to die from the same flu, from the same cold winter, from the same starvation. And so they made rules that affected everybody equally, because they were all affected equally by their environment, and there was very little disparity. Whereas in like, or another one, like in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, there was a lot more solidarity because we had just come out of such a horrific war that we all had this common shared or not we, I obviously was not there. They had a common shared experience of this war and the atrocities that came with it. And so that brought them together as a collective to prevent something like that from happening again. So that common goal was allowed for cohesiveness. But we now are in a culture that is vastly dissected and broken apart, and like there's micro groups within micro groups, and there is very little similarities between the disparate groups. Like, as I said in the past, everyone basically had similarities somehow, but in this culture it is very possible to find somebody that you have zero in common with at all. And that's all of that is a huge reason why we've not been able to have a stable democracy anymore, because we have too much differences, too much polarity in the system, and too many people that don't, I think a lot of people don't even know what we need. We just don't know how to fix anything. And so we're just kind of like throwing stuff at a wall, and maybe that'll fix it. Maybe that'll fix it. And when it doesn't, then the other side just loses faith. So I feel like we're just going to have to get to the point where we find a common direction, either through some sort of tragedy, disaster, depression, or until we decide that we've had enough with what's happening right now and do something about it. I think those are probably the two likely catalysts.
Like Greg said, I digress. I agree though, 100%. I don't doubt that there's someone out here. Will that one person? No, you're not getting that 15 minutes. You gonna have to force your way into the eyes of the public. Now, how you go about that, it really depends on you. I don't know. I look at the guys who did what they did. Again, I understand it. I don't support it. Those officers, whether or not you agree or disagree with them, they, their life shouldn't be in your hands. I guess you're saying, well, if you're putting mines in yours, then I'm going to do the same. Eye for an eye does not work. Never did. The system that we under is the reflection of what you're doing right now. All they're doing is creating monsters. That's it. I don't see it getting no better either. Trump is a big kid with all his toys, and he's playing with all his toys. And most of these rich guys are doing the same thing. That's all it really boils down to for me. So my thoughts and prayers go out to him. Because you know somebody else is going to do this eventually. Especially if you out here pretending to be something that you're not. Everybody ain't having you busting in their house or snatching them out of the car with their loved ones, and you're just going to get away with that. Some of these people are willing to crash out. I say this all the time. We gotta do better. Will we do better? That's subjective. Any final thoughts before we close out? Oh well, give a shout out to Greg, Robin for the repost. Appreciate you, and everybody that's here this evening. Any last thoughts on this subject or just in general?
I do have a poem.
We'll close out with the poem. And Greg, I'm not surprised, bro. I ain't surprised. All they doing is pissing people off. That's it. But that's probably what they wanted anyway. I'll let you find your piece. Then I give you the solo when you're prepared to go.
I got it.
All right.
All right. This one doesn't have a name, but it is written about them. There are glaciers whose significance and power bring beauty and shape the land and those upon it in a way that can hardly be imagined, refreshing the land with tributaries, recording our existence into stone, and whose gravity can change even time. There's also ice, cold, sharp, harsh, and dangerous, shifting along the soul-snatching lakes, piling up, cracking and snapping and threatening. Any wrong move can bring an end. No living creature should endure. Rapidly chipping away at the land, shifting the entire system from beneath. Glaciers can be looked upon with wonder and awe for generations, yet unto ice we have no choice but to look with fear. Our eyes water from the bitter chill inside, as our skin and bones ache from the memory of our exposure to them, as the frostbite merely thaws.
I like how you stay on topic every time.
Thank you.
Salutes to you.
Thanks
Salutes.
for joining us.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, bro. I know you've been having some pains and things like that, man. God got you though, bro. Hold your head up, man, and just try to take care of yourself as best as you know how. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the open mic will be here.
I'll be there.
Yes. And hopefully everybody gets to show up for this one. I got 2 new faces that's supposed to be pulling up. So
Any returns?
no, these are actually all brand new.
Awesome.
So that's why I had to swap out the day, because they're in different parts of the country.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all guys get up out of here. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody who did subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you. You guys enjoy your evening. I will see you tomorrow.
All right. See you tomorrow. Have a good Friday.